Near, rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum loud? Yeah.
Welcome to Cum Laude. Cum Paude. Joined here by my esteemed co-host to talk about this fabulous past week, Dame Judi Dench, the Farmalicious extraordinaire. What's going on, Fermi?
What it is, all nice and deep into the curl. I'm very excited for this week. We had an action-packed week 3, hoping to have just as much action this week. We'll see if we have the cream rising to the top or if we have the standings jumbling up. See if we get those front runners, but I'm thinking it's going to get packed up. But excited to talk about last week and look forward to the week to come.
Oh, we've got a lot going on here today. Big show. Going to wrap it up to the fastest 7 minutes to start. Then we're going to go through to Nick's picks. Not the best necessarily last week, but still held it down and still looking pretty good ATS on the season. We should kick it over quickly here, though, and let's hear that fastest 7 minutes. Fermi, are you ready?
Let's go ahead and cue that music. So this week we had a lot of close games. Everything coming down to the wire. 5 out of the 7 games were decided by less than 10 points, with some less than 5, some less than 2, some less than 1 point. Let's jump right in. We had the Cum Sale at the Big Dick Energy with Big Dak Energy laying 28 points, coming home with a 149-97 win. Big Dak covers and the Kilo Turd loses against the spread. Big performances from Tua and Ken Walker. This team finally getting the contributions from their other studs with their loaded team, finally getting that win, now up to 1-2, somewhere we expected them to be not. I thought they would be winning much more, but had some rough games out the gate, but also week 1 playing against another solid performance, getting that loss. Cum Sale is really just surprising all of us. Another solid performance riding on Laporta, Potty, and Gay Matt with tons of field goals in that Indianapolis upset over the Ravens. Ultimately, Big Dak coming away with the win. The next game on the list, Laporta Potties versus the Hamfist Stars. Hamfist was favored by 19. But Laporta gets the win, 123-117, covers. Kilo Turd loses against the spread. There were some last-minute heroics in this game from Joe Mixon getting a late touchdown and Jamar Chase finally showing up. Tons of receptions, tons of yards, and another big defense scoring this week. Third week in a row that some defense puts up massive points with 31 from the Bills. And gosh, this team could have won the weekly payout, but A-Chain on the bench, a last-minute decision after a trade comes through to roster Reynolds with the Lions. Probably hurting from that, but good thing Laporta gets the win here, so he doesn't have to feel the guilt of leaving 41 points on the bench. Yet another high-scoring loss for the Hamfists. You've got to feel for this team. They're now 0-3 with so many points scored. They're just getting other teams' best weeks kind of thing and then dropping down to 0-3. Feeling for you. Hopefully you can bounce back in week 4. You also lose Mike Williams this week. 4-1 out for you. That's a big hit to the team, and you're currently looking to get some wide receiver help to fill that gap. Moving on, we've got the Dame Judi Dench against Give Me the Flowers, baby. Dame jumps out to a quick lead up front, but makes a very poor decision late Sunday to swap out Zach Ertz for Pat Freiermuth and swap vice versa, and loses by 5 points here. Dame was favored after Thursday by 9, loses 115-110. Scooter covers. Kilo Turd gets another loss. But that decision is going to haunt Dame Judi Dench here for time to come. And, he consulted with his 2-year-old. You can see right here.
Eleanor, Pat Freiermuth or Zach Ertz?
Ertz.
You like Ertz?
Yes.
All right.
Maybe shouldn't be taking advice from somebody that has a funny last name, and Freiermuth is funnier, but whatever, okay? So this was the chance to beat the Flowers. No Saquon in the lineup. Really got to take advantage of that. Couldn't do it. Lamar shines. James Conner shows up against the Dallas defense, and Jason Myers kicking 5 field goals. Gets a lot of points there. Dame's Cowboys D falls flat against the Cards. Did not see that coming, and yet another running back injury with Gus Edwards leaving with a possible concussion. We'll see if he's okay. 4th injury to a running back for the Dames this year. just trying to make things work. But Scooter gets the win, 5-point victory. Moving on to the Minnesota Scrotums for Beth Healthy Twins. The Scrotums were favored by 15. Kilo Turd takes the Twins to cover, and the Twins get the outright win. Kilo Turd in the win column finally, 136 to 132. This came down to the final 2 minutes. The Scrotums were holding on to a less than 1 point margin. Puka Nakua only needed one catch, basically, to take this over, and goes the entire second half without even a target. And then in the final 2 minutes, catches not really garbage time, but meaningless with the amount of game left, but comes and gets the victory with a nice 30, 40-yard catch. Hangs on to get it. Huge game from the Mostert and the Dolphins there, with Jalen Waddle on the bench, but Mostert carrying it. And Zach Moss with a really good game. Kirk Cousins doing it. Best Healthy Twins is the top dog, the team to beat. Kilo Turd preseason projections had this team being 0-10 before a face-off in Week 11 with Cumsale, and boy, was the Kilo wrong. 3-0. Can they sustain this? Time will tell. Expected good play from the Scrotums with the stud wide receivers, but needs to get more out of Trevor Lawrence moving forward. Unexpected play against the Houston Texans. Big points. It hurts. It hurts to put up 130 and still lose, but really solid team. And the Scrotums not showing it in the standings right now at 1-2, but so much potential. They'll turn it around. Let's move it on to John Wilkes Tooth at the Lordy Taint Party. The Tooth was laying 4 points, and the Taint Party covers. Kilo gets another one, 107.9 to 107.1. Less than 1 point victory. Love having the decimals in here so you can decide a true victor, but Wilkes Tooth on the Monday night inches past with Kieran Williams, running back, getting just enough to squeak by with a few extra yards there. Gets the victory. Sean Watson played well. That's good for this team to see moving forward. And Tyler Bass getting some good points in there from the kicker. Big loss for the Taint Party. They were looking strong, trying to get this victory, but not looking strong this week because of injuries. Some of us knew that all too well, but they were hurting so much with Eckler being out and with all of the Saints running backs being out. Had to make something happen. Made a decision, I think, with the heart and not the head, to put in dropping a Deuce Vaughn, putting up a big 0 there. 1 point would have been the decider. But huge game from Devontae, so that's good to see. Again, Lordy Taint Party is looking to be a very solid team this year, just banged up this week, looking to recover next week with another big game that Bluto will take you through a little bit later. But ultimately, John Wilkes Tooth, he finds ways to win games. Gets a win by a margin of 0.8. And then the final game, not the final game, surprise! ESPN's at the Pies. Yet another game that went down to the wire, decided by the final 2 minutes by the Monday night games. The Pies were favored by 32, and ESPN just breaks Vegas with a victory outright, 118 to 116. Kilo Turd loses that one. Had the Pies destroying ESPN. But ultimately, this came down to the Rams scoring a touchdown in the final 2 minutes of that game, dropping Cincinnati's defensive points by 2 points. They had the lead, and that touchdown, regardless of any teammate on ESPN, that touchdown dropped them 2 points and gives ESPN that victory. ESPN was saved Monday night, though, clawing their way, getting up there with McPherson just kicking long field goals, and Tyler Higbee making a huge catch on that final drive to solidify the lead there. Usual performance out of Mahomes. Surprise from Adam Thielen. Maybe that's something to come as Cooper Kupp continues to be on the injured reserve. ESPN gets that win. That's a big win for them as they're waiting for Cooper Kupp to return. Super tough loss for the Pies. T. Higgins dropped a lot of balls last night, and that was the deciding factor. T. Higgins probably would have just brought in one of those. It would have been a victory. Steady performance for the four-headed running back monster that the Pies has, but couldn't get the victory. Yet another really talented team here getting an L in the column, getting a strong performance from their opponent. And finally, last but not least, on last week, this was not a close game. The Pubic Medusas, the returning champs at the tight end boys. Medusas were laying 26, and the Kilo Turd says, yeah, tight end's going to cover this. And they do 132 to 109. Kilo Turd gets the win. So Kilo Turd is 3-4 against the spread this week. Not as good of a showing, but overall, they will look at 13-7 on the season against the spread. But let's go back to the game. Great output, except for King Henry, but it doesn't matter. Maybe you'll get big from King one week and still get big from McCaffrey because he's a monster. But fun little surprise there. He has some injured reserve with Deontay Johnson, so throw in Calvin Austin, gets a big play, which really sealed the deal there Sunday night. Medusa is just looking strong all around. 132 points, really solid. Do that week in and week out, you're most likely going to win. The tight ends, looking okay. 109 points. We look at 100 points as being the barometer. We've got an extra flex slot, so maybe we look at 109, 110. We had, 6-7 teams right in between that 105, 120 range, so that's a good spot to be. Massive game from Keenan Allen. Without Keenan Allen, you're not really performing, but Keenan Allen, Chargers now losing Mike Williams, so Keenan might be the answer there for the tight end. So we're going to throw it over to Bluto Ploopsicle to give us Nick's picks for week 4 and see where this is going to shake up. We've got a couple teams at 3-0, a couple teams 2-1, many teams at 1-2 right now. And it's looking fun. The commissioner is looking for parity in these leagues, and he's got a pair of these nuts right now. Bluto, take it away.
And let's run it through here and talk about the week 4 prospectus moving forward. Fermi with the hot takes and hot breakdowns coming out of week 3. We definitely saw a few surprises and a few just as we thought they would go type of games, hoping for some more of that every single week. Let's see what we're looking at with these matchups heading into the 4th week. We have the matchup of the brothers, me co-host at the Cum Sale, Dame Judi Dench facing off at the Cum Sale. Judy giving 9. This is looking like a decent matchup week here for the Cum Sale against Dame Judy's kind of banged up team. However, I do think that the Cum Sale is still kind of limping along. Will they be able to cover the 9 points? We're going to say no. We're going to lock up Dame Judi Dench to win by at least 9 points. John Wilkes Tooth, the dentist, visiting Beth's Healthy Twins. The Twins laying 4.5. One of these teams that if you would have asked me to handicap this game at the beginning of the season, I'm not sure the Twins would have been on the same side of this, but they've proved to everybody that they pretty much know how to play and can get this done. I believe they get it done again, and we are going to lock it up for Beth's Healthy Twins laying 4.5. The Porta Potties heading into Give Me Flowers. Flowers laying 19, big number, but the Porta Potties, not necessarily for lack of talent on their roster, but just guys are not getting it done. A lot of talented players that are not pulling it off. Has got to be scratching his head, wondering what he's going to do. But the Flowers, on the other hand, was one of my preseason darlings to win it all this year. 19 points is a big number, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the highest scoring team of the week this week. So lock it up for the Flowers laying 19. We got the Scroats heading down to the Bottomland to take on the Ham Fist. The Scroats laying 18.5. I tell you one thing, I don't really know the statistics right now, but that's way too big of a number for the Seamstress and his boys. I don't really even need to analyze their teams or what they've got going on. I just don't think I could ever take a Ron Sword managed team laying that many points at home, or in this case on the road. So go ahead and let's lock up the Ham Stars, the best scoring team in this league and the worst luck team in this league. Lock it up for the Ham Fists getting 18.5. And I tell you what, we're going to sprinkle some on the money line. I think the wrong team is favored here. Let's go Ham Stars. Medusa's visiting the Taint Party, the Smack Talk matchup of the week, the one that we've been waiting on. This is going to fill our Sunday chat thread with plenty of good content, and I love this number. 1.5, giving 1.5 on the road at the Taint Party. Woo, baby, we've got ourselves a bit of a game. Do the champs just keep on rolling and try to make it so it doesn't seem like they've lost in a goddamn calendar year? I don't think so. This is a big time spot for the Taint Party. The Taint Party gets it done. Lock it up. We'll take the 1.5, but we won't need it. Sprinkle a little on the money line. Go. Lock it up for the Taint Party, getting 1.5 points. ESPN heading to the tight end girls, going way down in the bottom land. Tight end is laying 5.5. Made some roster improvements, I think, this week, or at least some adjustments through some trading. Definitely made good use of that counter offer period to make his team better. ESPN is a team that is limping to the finish line. Definitely going to have to start making some moves here. 5.5 is actually not enough. I don't think. I think the tight end girls can win this game by 10 or more, but that's all right. I'll take the number as it is. Lock it up for the favorite. Tight ends laying 5.5 in our last matchup of the week. The Hot July Pies against Big Dak Energy. BDE laying 3.5. The Hot Pies have had kind of an up and down roller coaster year. Doesn't seem to really be putting it all together. Same with Big Dak Energy. So, maybe that might be the snoozer of the week, or maybe this is the one where both teams just kind of come out and blow the doors off of everybody and show what their potential is. It's a coin flip in this one, and I think BDE, being the home team, is getting the obligatory Vegas 3 points that we often see, because to me this is a straight up pick'em game, and I'm actually going to go with the Hot July Pies getting the 3.5. But I wouldn't be surprised if Big Dak Energy wins outright, but just fails to cover. Let me throw it back to Dame Judi Dench here to talk a little bit about the prospective gathering of the minds.
All right. I like that Knicks picks there. Let's see what happens. So one thing that we wanted to talk about, this was mentioned a few weeks ago in the old text chat, was the gathering of the peoples. We're proposing a hangout for the league, if possible, somewhere maybe in the Baltimore area on Sunday, October 8th. Maybe we can catch a game at a bar, watch it together. I know there's some discussions around maybe a little bit of hitting the old little round ball around, playing a little round of golf, proposed by the Pubic Medusa champion, trying to bring everybody together here. We'll see how that goes. Pubic, it's up to you. Do we want to bring this back up? Is anybody in? We got the survey out there. Funny though, it's anonymous, so who knows who's in and who's out. But let's keep talking about that. All right, let's send it back over to Nick's picks for finalization here on the Paude 2.6. What you got for us?
And that's it for another episode of Cum Laude, Cum Paude. Boy, this is a fun one. Slightly different format, as you may have noticed, kind of testing out what we've got the capability to do here. And I think I like the way that this is running. What do you think, Fermi?
This is a unique format. We'll see how it comes out in production. Let's hope we can pull it off.
Well, with that, arrivederci. Say goodnight, Fermi.
Good night, Firm.
Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.